She said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
That was Jen McCabe back in 2024 at the first trial. And I think everyone's noticed that her demeanor much different second time around. And the jury that's sitting there now, they're only seeing her second time around. They didn't see her demeanor in the first trial. The rest of us did, obviously. But I want to take a look at some more of her testimony here on that big issue, the alleged confession of Karen Reed. Like Karen Reed being the one introducing the concept of, hey, I may have hit him. I am the one who may have struck John O'Keefe. Let's take a look.
When she got on the phone, I had told her, Karen, I saw you guys outside of my sister's house. And then she told me she didn't remember being there. And then she went on to say, she started saying, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? I don't. And then she just was just all over the place, like screaming my name, screaming so many different things. She was hard to follow or understand.
An important witness, a very important witness for prosecutors because of the conversations and what she witnesses. She's there when they find John O'Keefe, plus she is part of the entire night that night. Also important for the defense because they believe she's part of the conspiracy in all of this. So that brings us to the next question in our investigation, and it's about this witness. Is Jennifer McCabe's testimony trustworthy? Joining us to help figure all of this out, Susan Constantine still with us, and longtime Massachusetts attorney. He was a prosecutor for 20 years, including as the homicide chief in Norfolk County. Richard, I call him Rick Grundy, is with us. Okay, I'll start with you, Susan. In what you saw in that piece, is that consistent with what you've seen previously from Jennifer McCabe?
Well, I can't recall what she was like previously.
No, I mean, in the previous segment. We looked at her in the previous segment.
Yes. Okay, yes, okay. Yeah, there's a difference there. So what I'm looking at when I'm seeing her and her body language, that she starts right off with a flutter. So there's a little anxiety, a little concern right there. So she's got a little nervous right at the very beginning. And then there's a part where her flow and her language changes. So she's trying to recall what Karen Reed had said, but when she does it, she looks up, her eyes kind of dart a little bit. She breaks her flow. She abandons her thought midway, and then she loses her track. And then she tries to emphatically say what Karen Reed said, which is, of course, we know the famous, did I hit him? Did I hit him? So I'm not going to throw deception at her. I'm just saying that's her interpretation of it. But I do think that she has a hard time recalling it as it actually really happened because of the abandonment and the thought, the fluttering, and the break in the flow.
Okay, Rick, I want you to take a look at this. This is the cross-examination of Jen McCabe, talking about her and Kerry Roberts, the other important witness, who talked about this before testifying and before giving their formal statements. Let's take a look.
You wanted to find out if she had talked to these particular law enforcement officers and what she had told them so that your story could somehow align or it could inform how you responded to questions that they asked you. Isn't that true?
That's not true. We both know what happened. We don't have to have a story. There's nothing more than me calling and saying, hey, did they come to your house? That's what we did when the media showed up, when Miss Reed's private investigator showed up. We just give each other the heads up, hey, somebody's coming, because we're just like normal moms. We're not used to this.
Okay, Rick, I want you to go beyond the body language and put all the circumstances of everything that's happening inside this courtroom. Do you believe her testimony is trustworthy? Will the jury accept her testimony?
I think the general fabric of what she is putting forth to the jury is trustworthy, and I think the jury will largely believe it. Any piece of evidence, whether it's testimony, whether it's physical evidence, whether it's an expert's witness, to really hit the mark is reliant on corroboration. That is some other independent piece of evidence you can put before the jury that lends credibility, lends the statement or the piece of evidence some credibility. With expert testimony even, you may accept the science, but that's going to have a lot to do with the credibility you assign that person who's offering it to you in their testimony. And here, I think that favors the prosecution, because the corroboration here is you have these other individuals, you have the first responders making similar comments. I think the jury may find that this story has kind of been compacted down to now everybody saying 3 times, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. But that there is a fiber there that runs through all the parties that is consistent with that. And if you look at the defense side, they really have a difficult time because their corroboration is now they have to show this whole big conspiracy. 30 people, half of Canton, people that are unrelated to one another, people who are first responders, people who are there with the body on the front lawn. All of them have to be a part of this conspiracy. So I think if you look at the pillars that each party is going to offer to help make this statement stand for what they want, the prosecution is in the better position.
Okay, Susan, there was another piece of the cross-examination of Jennifer McCabe I found really interesting. It's not necessarily about the facts of the case, but I want your analysis of it. Take a look.
Was there any discussion about crafting your testimony in any way to suggest a softer approach?
No.
Did Mr. Brennan take you through a series of questions, for instance, as almost a test run of questions that you might be asked either on direct examination or cross-examination?
No.
Were there any sessions where you sat and was subjected to a cross-examination, like a fake cross-examination or a fake direct examination?
No, there
Anything
wasn't.
like that?
No.
Susan, what do you think of that exchange?
Well, there's parts of it that I believe and parts of it I don't. So, not everybody just shakes their head no, right at no. Sometimes they shake it back and forth when they say yes sometimes. So but I'm watching for her baseline. I'm trying to figure out what is her baseline. When she's kind of tilting her head, it's like, what are you asking me that question for? Like she's almost annoyed, agitated that you would ask her that question. But then her pitch her pitch lowers when she's asked the question again. Her body language starts to collapse. So when I see that, that's where a person starts to lose some confidence in what she's actually saying. So I don't believe that she did not have discussions with her attorneys, but not in the sense of coaching what to say. I think that there was a dialogue, so there's that kind of ambiguity going on there.
All right, Susan and Rick are going to stay with us. Up next, are Karen Reed's comments trustworthy?